Breaking news to some of you, and it may be shocking, but turns out the Bigfoot that was supposed to be killed here in San Antonio actually was not. Rick Dyer, the man who claims to have killed him and has been traveling around the country with the beast in a trailer as a sort of sideshow, now says the body is a fake. He had an effects company make that body for him, and that said, Dyer still insists, though, he killed Bigfoot, but didn't travel with the body for fear that someone would steal it.
Well, hello there. Welcome to the Paranormal Highway. You know, the last 3 weeks, I've been doing shows on certain characters, certain people that, I don't know about this guy. And what's great about doing this kind of a show, I have Anthony come up and we talk about the certain person on, am I being too harsh? Am I being right? What is his thoughts? It helps me to determine that what I'm feeling, is it correct? For example, you guys know the first show I did on Jeremy Corbell. What we learned is that guy is 100% a complete liar. He just lies. He lied about alien invasions. I mean, that was 100% complete lie. And then we did a show on Corey Good. Goody, good, I don't care what you guys want to call him. Corey Good, where, let's be honest, he's a fell producer. He's a fell artist. He used the UFO community to get his popularity. Because he already had a connection to Hollywood. You learn that he used the UFO to make people think he is a great, producer. He is a great spokesperson for the community, which all he did was he took other people's videos and he bent the truth on them. He exaggerated. And you guys all know that there's a point of exaggeration that, to me, is considered lying. Just as much of a liar, exaggerating, saying, you know that footage is not real, but you say it is. They use the UFO community for their careers. Right or wrong, they did. They made a lot of money off of it. Okay? And then we go to Tom DeLonge, right? Tom DeLonge, I felt that his heart was in the right place. He loves UFOs just as much as myself, just as much as Anthony. He really, truly loved the UFOs. And it wasn't about using the UFO community for the popularity, because he already had it with Blink-182. He already had a popularity with him that I've learned with my researching and learning through Anthony, that he technically got with the wrong people. They made them believe that he could create this company and it will be like the next big, huge company that's connected with the government, footages, and made him feel like he could run it. He's the CEO. He learned he was wrong, right? He learned that he was wrong. $37 million in debt. That not anybody could walk in and be a leader of a company. You contribute to it. He had the connections. That part wasn't the problem. They made him believe he could do it, and it failed. But we all still know that his heart was in the right place. He got with the wrong people. And instead of helping the UFO community, really, basically, the company did nothing. Did nothing. They were trying to commercialize it for TV shows, for books, for all the wrong reasons. He would have stuck to it, stuck to his true belief, he might have made something out of it. But regardless. Now, Rick Dyer. I'm so lost in words on to even how to start with Rick Dyer. I mean, how do you start with this guy? And I'm just going to bring Anthony straight up on this, just straight up, because Rick Dyer is the worst kind of liar. He is the worst kind of Tom DeLonge getting with the wrong people. He did get in with the wrong people. but he was in it 100% from the beginning. He never had any thoughts of what he was doing was wrong. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Rick Dyer faked a Bigfoot death.
2008 wound up as a hoax, as y'all all know, with the Bigfoot in the freezer.
They put a dummy inside of a freaking ice chest and told the world, got one of some people that was connected with Vegas, like a promoter from the beginning, with money, that you can make money out of it. I mean, that is the worst person, because he admit, they tried to do the YouTube way and they weren't getting views, but he got people fake it, and it was completely about the money. 100%. Listen, I understand you got to make money if you want to do this as a career. I get that. That's not the part I'm talking about. But the part, Anthony, that is so sad for me is what he did was such a bad light on the creature itself, Bigfoot.
He made a mockery out of it.
But not just a mockery out of it, because there's a lot of people in the Bigfoot community follow this guy, who believe every word what he said. Conferences brought him in because he brought in big money.
Yeah.
Think about Bigfoot itself saying they got a dead body. I said, that just makes a Bigfoot just another animal. Didn't even care. Didn't even care for humans. And I'm still wondering to this day, was he ever visited by the police, by a government agency, to know what the hell is in what he had? I mean, it is illegal to shoot a deer without a license. It's illegal to shoot a bear without a license. You got to have license. You got to have tags. You got to follow procedure. Because if you're a deer hunter, once you get a deer, that's the first part. You got a red shirt. You got to turn in your tags. Nobody that I've learned, maybe I'm wrong, somebody else, maybe he was checked, I don't know. But what I've learned, the man was never checked. How the hell can a person take a body and then drove around an RV to conferences? It's like, hey, pay me money. You can actually see the big Bigfoot, and nobody checked?
No.
Anthony, I mean, I don't know. Not just he's a hoaxer making money off of this. How did he get away with, I mean, this is all opinions. We don't know how. But how did he get away with people paying him money to see it and nobody checked? I'm talking about people with badges to see, well, what the hell is he carrying? If he's faking it with the bear, why did he never got arrested? Or because okay, so Anthony, how about this? Anthony, a person coming to my town that has saying that he has a Bigfoot in there, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, he has an animal, and I called. I don't know if I called the police or I want to know if I
Department of Wildlife. Let's say we called the Department of Wildlife.
Wildlife. Would they be obligated to see what he has that's in there? What is he showing in the first place? You don't know. They don't know it's fake.
Sure, because how do you know he didn't shoot a bear and alter it to look like a Sasquatch? You know what I mean? And from what I understand, he took body parts from different animals to recreate that Sasquatch, right? So how did he get the other body parts? Did he go out and shoot them? Was it the right time of season to shoot those animals? Were any of those?
You talk about breaking a jaw on an animal to make the effect.
Right. It's crazy.
And we cut open the dead possum, and we got something out of its stomach, like a piece of stomach lining or something. And then we put it in a bag, and Tom Biscardi took it. Says that I can make this work. We had to use real animals. We used a pig. We used a cow's head. We broke the cow's jaw. And if you ever cut a tongue out of a cow or broke his jaw, it is extremely difficult. So if you ever decided to make another Bigfoot hoax, just be aware and have some big tools to cut their jaws and pull their tongue out of their throat, because it's difficult. So we cut the cow. Now the cow was already dead. We did not kill a cow to do this. We just went to a meat market and we got cow, a pig, and goat and goat balls, because we thought goat balls was the right size for a Bigfoot.
And that's my point. Nobody checked.
And then
Was
rip
it
it
all
off
about
the
the
public.
money?
And how he ripped off the general public is a whole nother mess of a situation. I think he got away with it because they looked at it more like a sideshow attraction type thing. I think that's how they presented that situation. But I mean, just absolutely absurd, and it brought down such a dark light on the Sasquatch Bigfoot community. I mean, really, it really put a damper on the whole thing, because what he did was so wrong. He made a big joke out of the whole community is basically what he did. He swore up and down that it was a legitimate Sasquatch kill, and I mean, it was so fake it wasn't even funny. The images of this thing, like, how could you even believe something like that is real? I don't know how people couldn't even pay money to see something so ridiculous.
He recently went on a channel. You went on Nikki's channel.
Hairy man
And-
hoax
and-
hoodwinks.
And he allowed himself to be interviewed. And I don't know what the hell. I mean, he played that game where I'm just gonna let it all out. I'm just gonna let it all out. This is what happened. I got with these people. There was money, and I saw the money, and I knew me and my partner. We knew we can make money out of it. But what he did with the story says, oh, we did see a Bigfoot by a creek, but it was so deposed we couldn't pick it up. We couldn't drag it back, and so we got with it. We told a story, made a fake story, got with this person who's connected with Vegas, and told we got to make money to produce this. You got to produce a body.
And then Tom Biscardi calls us. And the first thing that Tom Biscardi says is, guys, I know the Bigfoot isn't real, but we can make a ton of money.
And they did, and he talked in this video like, it wasn't really, he made about the money. But I'm going to tell you something, Anthony. If this guy wanted to come on my show, even apologize, I'm sorry. I cannot let this guy on my channel, because I cannot have a spotlight on this guy trying to convince people that it wasn't all that. I really am a true hunter. Trying to people I would not give this guy the time of day. I watch him on another channel, but I cannot give this guy the time of day, because and I know, if he comes here, pretends he's crying, it's an act.
I mean, if I had somebody like that on my channel, I would want to know what the whole logic of his thinking was for perpetrating a hoax like that. What made him do something like that? People would be so excited just to see footage of you out in the field, filming the woods and actually out on the hunt looking for a Sasquatch. They would be more enthused with that than what he did, because now he's labeled a hoaxer for the rest of his life. That tarnishment will never go away. That sticks with him like glue wherever he goes. And what's even worse is wherever he goes, he tries to lie even more to get himself out of certain situations.
Yes.
And you could tell by his body language and his eye movement and his speech that he's lying. So he's only digging a deeper hole for himself, really. The best is when he tries to call out other researchers as hoaxers. When he does that makes me crack up laughing all the time. Like, you have the audacity to call someone else a hoaxer, and you're the biggest one going? I mean, it's crazy, dude.
And the Bigfoot community doesn't care. Because I will tell you that I've been in the Bigfoot community for a lot of years, and I've met all the big people, and I tell you, that very few of them actually believe in Bigfoot. And then I will tell you that when real evidence comes forth in the Bigfoot community, all the top people are instantly non-believers. All top people are basically jealous that if they didn't find it, or their buddies didn't find it, then absolutely it's not real.
It truly is crazy. And I try to put myself, and then I try to put myself as a regular conference goer or something. I know it's different for everybody, but I do wonder, how did people really believe he had a Bigfoot in a fridge, or when he was selling tickets for money, people to go see this thing? How? You know what I mean? I mean, what made it in your mind saying, "Oh my God, he's got it. I'm going to pay my money"? Because first thing I was thinking, well, was this verified by the forest department? Was it verified by, I don't know, the police department? I mean, what? Did people not care to ask for it?
Nobody got verification on that animal. No. I mean, you have you gotten a close-up look at what this thing looks like? You can tell when you look at the facial structure that maybe clay was used to make the nose molding and all of that stuff. You could tell that something was seriously off when you look at that. And he tried to pass that off as decomposition and the body decomposing and stuff like that. You could tell by the way the body was cut open that the autopsy that was done on that thing was not right. I mean, it was ridiculous.
And then they went more from there. They did videos of like they're in a car, there's a Bigfoot, and they grind the footage, in a tent. I mean, it didn't just stop there. They made a bunch of videos and going around the country. Like there was at the end, there was 4 or 5 of them.
This is as real as you're standing right where you are, sir.
But it wasn't. Turns out this Bigfoot was just a rubber gorilla suit. These 2 men from Georgia claimed they found the corpse of a Sasquatch in the woods.
When we discovered it, I waited with it. Rick went back and got some help and got a truck, and we moved it out of there.
And their proof, these 2 photos.
4 hours.
Enough for Tom Biscardi, the head of a Bigfoot search team.
What I touched, what I felt, what I prodded was not a mask that was sewn on a bear hide.
The men say they stuffed the Bigfoot carcass in a freezer and, for an undisclosed amount, handed over the frozen creature. But after some thawing, all that was left, a rubber gorilla outfit. Calls to the 2 men about their fake discovery haven't been returned. Mike Gracia, the Associated Press.
Just like pride and all this, and nobody questioned their morals. Like, you're carrying. I don't know. Sometimes I'm lost for words, Anthony. Like that is a total disrespect to Bigfoot, saying it's just an animal. In the state of Washington, there's actually a law that it could be considered manslaughter if you kill and shoot a Bigfoot. It could be considered manslaughter. You have to prove that it was attacking you. I'm sure nobody would question it. I mean, I hate to say it, they shouldn't. But even a thought of treating a life, if I hate to say this, if you and I, well, actually my parents are both passed away, but it'd be like me. Hey guys, my father passed away. I'm going to put him in the fridge. I'm going to put poles. I'm going to drive him around the country. You guys can pay me money. You would, in your mind, you would say, Eric, you're the most despicable, just honest person to do that to a parent or anybody showing them around for money as ball parts. And that's how I feel what they did with Bigfoot. Treating it just like a freaking sorry-ass animal with no respect, showing them around. And when other people... You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just disrespectful to the creature Bigfoot, because we don't know for a fact. I know he's real, and I know you feel he's real, but we don't know if a Bigfoot is a killer. they could be peaceful family members. They could have little babies like us, treating it like a piece of garbage, showing them around. Say, because what if it was real? What if that was say they did, right? They killed a real Bigfoot. But isn't that the most disrespectful thing in the world, to proud it around like a fucking toy? Oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I said, sure, yeah, absolutely. It's pathetic, if you ask me. It's pathetic.
But people were fine with it. The people who pay money were fine with it.
Because they like I said, they wanted to see it as if it was a sideshow attraction. I think that was the law to it all. Like, oh wow, this guy. All right, so for $20, either we're gonna see an actual Bigfoot or we're gonna see a hunk of junk. You know what I mean? I think that's how they looked at it.
Do you feel that a con who's throwing these things, that abide them on, should they kind of be responsible for because they gotta know it's a hoax, right? Don't you think they had to know it's a hoax? Now, there was one thing that Rick Dyer did say that I do believe him. He said that a lot of these top researchers that people consider them as the top, that they all know lies. They all know what's fake and stuff. And he made a point where if a guy like Anthony, say you went out in the woods, you filmed a Bigfoot, that these top researchers that people consider as top researchers will poo-poo your video because it did not come from them. I believe that's the only part that Rick Dyer have said that I believe there's truth in it. That top people who are considered top by other people don't want you to have any percentage of Bigfoot popularity than themselves.
Very true. People are always out for themselves. You know, we see that time and time again with every community. That's why That's why I, and Ron, we try to be welcoming to everybody. We try to help out all the other channels. We're kind to everyone because in kindness, you get kindness in return. You give it, you get it back. Some people just don't have that mentality. It's all that me. And that's the type of person that Rick strikes me as. Me. You know? It's all about him, making money, all of that stuff. That's all he cares about. It's the bottom dollar.
It truly was. I mean, we all know, Jeremy, Corey, whatever, all them. We all know they used the UFO community to make their career get hired. It was all about the money and fame. They wanted the fame and popularity and all that. But at least I could say they didn't drive around with a fake dead alien. But I mean, Jeremy.
I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised that nobody's tried that yet with an alien driving around with it like it's a sideshow attraction. You know?
You know what I mean? That's the only thing they do. That's the only thing they do. It's sad.
Ripley's Believe It or Not has the mermaid, Eric, in New York, that somebody tried to pass off as a dead mermaid as a sideshow attraction. But an alien I've never seen yet. But Rick, you gotta have some big cojones on you to try that with Bigfoot, because the Bigfoot community is very passionate about what they do. You know,
they are,
and to try to pull a fast one on them, I mean, they're gonna retaliate.
Yeah.
In all fairness, it's not right what he did.
Yeah, and I think with all these people that we've talked about in the last 2-3 weeks, all they do is put a spotlight on the community, and in a lot of ways makes it a joke. I know some of them are still popular and all that. And like I said, I admit, I feel that Tom DeLonge just got in with the wrong people, got over his head. His belief in UFOs kind of got lost on what he originally, started out to do. And we know Corey Good is he's just a complete liar. I mean, we just know that. He did it all for fame, all for money. And then you go back to Jeremy Corbell, that he loved his face on the camera. He loved being in the spotlight. It was more, I don't think Jeremy Corbell was mostly about the money. It was more about the fame because he already had the money.
Yeah.
He was already grew up with a silver spoon. But a guy like
But why, I ask myself, Eric? Why? All right, so money, fame. At some point, you're gonna get labeled a hoaxer. At some point, you're gonna get labeled that your information is misinformation. You're not to be trusted. Why would you want to be labeled like that?
I think it's once you make the money's
Like,
still there.
Like, who
The
cares?
money's still
then,
there,
you know?
unless you blew it, unless you blew all your money. The money's still there. Listen, that Jeremy Corbell still goes on Fox News and CNN. He's still
I
making
know.
money. And
Yeah.
people in the UFO community, I had emails and texts, more emails saying, you should not back Jeremy Corbell. He does so much for the UFO community.
Yeah,
People still back him up. And I don't know as much as Goody, they back him up, and Rick
backing him
Dyer.
up too right now. And let me tell you something. It's all, and I blame the media and the people that put these people in the spotlight. I blame them. Because once those big corporations put people like this in the spotlight, they become the go-to guys. And then that's like, automatically people want to trust them because, they were on the news. I seen him on Channel 5. He was on CNN. He was on Gaia TV. He was on HBO. Now he's on KTU radio station. You glorify these people. Do they not do their due diligence and do any background checks and say, where's this guy getting his information from? Just because he's telling me this is top secret military footage, how do we know that it's really top secret military footage just because he said it? Come on, man. It's crazy.
Yep.
It didn't start off as a hoax. And I'm going to tell you the real story right now. We were walking through the woods in Fall Creek Falls, Tennessee, and we saw a carcass laying beside a river, a stream. And we went over to it, and it looked like a Bigfoot to me and Matt. And we didn't drag it out of the woods. We didn't do anything. We just left it there. And those are the days where every cell phone didn't have a camera. And I didn't have one. He didn't have one. And we left it there.
And funny thing is, Rick Dyer is still making money himself. Now he's going on tour. He goes on tour now saying, it was a hoax. Now that itself has become a game.
Yep. He's making money off that now too.
Yep, he's making money off of that. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't. Every channel has a right to do what they want. And I will put a link in the description of Nikki's channel of the full interview, which she did a good interview. I'm not blaming her for this.
Hoodwinks.
Since she did the interview, I don't need to. I've seen it. I will not give this guy the time of day.
Hell no.
Him any popularity, because I don't want one person to say, well, he got influence with the money, whatever.
That's no
whatever.
excuse. No excuse.
At the end of the day, there is no excuse.
Listen, if you were doing it for monetary gain, then before all your videos, you should have put for entertainment purposes only. Not real, for entertainment purposes only. Then nobody can say anything to you about it being fake. But you went out there and brought it and presented it to the world as a real Sasquatch. You wanted the world to believe this thing was real for a long time till you got busted. And for that, you don't get a pass. Sorry.
Yep. And guys, I want to thank Anthony for joining me, giving his point of view.
Thank you, my brother.
I'll give you guys my final thoughts. I honestly feel that this Rick Dyer is the worst of the worst. Not just because he's using it to get fame, because we've seen throughout history, people would do whatever they can do to get fame and money and the corruptions. We've all seen that. I still can't get past the fact that he drove around with something that was fake in his vehicle and trying to say that's Bigfoot. It puts a black eye. And it makes everybody think that Bigfoot's evil. And we don't know Bigfoot's evil. We don't know. Yeah, there's stories of the missing 411, and don't get me wrong. these creatures could be harmful, but we don't know that yet. And with this kind of a thing, making it such a joke and a mockery, it really sets back community. But I will agree with Rick Dyer when he said that the people on top want to stay on top, and they're gonna poo-poo down on any. I don't want to say small researchers, because nobody's a small researcher. If you go out in the woods and you start looking, you are a researcher. Some people have better equipment, better trackers. You know, they might be technically more trained, but we're all researchers. All you got to do is open your eyes and start looking. You're a researcher, and there's nobody better. Don't ever think these people, oh, they're better. No, a lot of these people, I hate to say it, at all conferences, not just Bigfoot, not just UFO, and not just the paranormal, you know, all these people are not better than you. You could do great research with them, all because they had that one video that hit big. Doesn't make them better than you, and it doesn't make them more real than you. I seen a hand on a wall from the paranormal, the detectives, paranormal detectives from the Unidentified S4 channels done. That's one of the best evidence I have seen. You know what? But it hasn't gone viral. He's not there. So I guarantee there's people in the paranormal community saying, oh, that's this, that's that, because it didn't come from them. And that is more realistic of a footage that I have seen with anybody else. All because these people they consider making it big does not make them 100% truthful. You got to open your eyes, people. You got to smell the coffee. You got to do your goddamn research. Because people like Rick Dyer, they got away with it for years. They got away with it for years until something happened and they got caught in their pants down, and now they're on an apology tour. All because these people you're seeing are on top does not make them 100% real. And if you're not doing the research, or you're giving them the money right off the bat, then you're just, I hate to say this, you are just to blame as they are. Rick Dyer made money, but it takes you to give them money for them to make money. And if you don't do your own research, we're just to blame as they are. 100%. We are just to blame as they are. So I can't say this enough. I know you always hear this on my channel. You gotta do your research. And when you do your research, don't do it off one source. When I say do your research, go to 3-4 different sources. Learn about the people who you're taking the source from. If Anthony Unidentified S4 tells you something, well, learn about him. Learn where he comes from. Learn what kind of person he is that's giving you that information. Everybody you listen to, learn from the source. So when you determine that I like his source, I like that source, at least you feel better that your decision is based on some honest, real people. But it takes you to do the research. Because there's always going to be another Rick Dyer. There's always going to be another Jimmy Corbell. Good. Now, Tom DeLonge, I'm not giving him a pass for not helping the UFO community. But you got him with the wrong people. But you got to understand the people you get in business with, you got to look at those people too. If one person is bad, well, you know what? You're connected to that person. So when you get into these business deals with other people, please look at their background too. Because if you find out they did something wrong, you're going to get connected with that for the rest of your life. That's just a fact. So do your research, do your learning, and guys, at the end of the day, the truth is what you make it. The truth is up to you. It's not up to anybody else. It's up to you. 100% it's up to you. And I want to thank you guys for going down this road, taking this journey with all of us on the paranormal highway. I'll see you next week.
A man says he killed Bigfoot, and he says he's got the proof. But when he took it on the road, he didn't exactly get a warm reception. He was shunned in Phoenix, so now he's trying Albuquerque. News 13's Crystal Gutierrez reports.
probably going to need the light. So
Well, it's not the first place you would think to find Bigfoot, inside a trailer being hauled around the country, and today it made a stop in Albuquerque. Now, some say it looks like it's part of a circus act, but Rick Dyer, the self-proclaimed Bigfoot hunter, says from head,
his head, as you see, is almost 3 times as big as mine.
to toe.
They're about, I don't know, about this wide here and about 13 inches.
This is the real deal, and he says he shot it in September 2012 outside of San Antonio after being in the woods only 6 days. He says this grainy cell phone video is proof Bigfoot was alive before he shot it.
Well, I was on the mission to find them because of what happened in 2008.
If the name Rick Dyer sounds familiar, it should. In 2008, Dyer was busted trying to pass a rubber suit as the body of Bigfoot, a complete hoax. But he says he did shoot one before that stunt, but the government took it. So this is about restoring his reputation. But not everyone is buying it, including those from Skeptic Society.
Other than that, we have nothing but the promises from a known hoaxer. And he's trying to make money off this. And even the Bigfoot community is totally doubtful.
Phoenix venues, including the International UFO Conference, said they didn't want his exhibit. And so far, Albuquerque venues haven't welcomed him either. Crystal Gutierrez, KRQE News 13.
Dyer says his Bigfoot stands 8 feet tall and weighed almost 800 pounds after he killed it. But get this, he says there is a second Bigfoot that he shot that same day, and it will be debuted in Texas. He says 2 venues, one in Amarillo and one in Austin, have booked his exhibit.